foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids removed from their home because of abuse and neglect, and we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com.
What is homelessness? Have you seen parents struggle to find a job without having transportation or childcare? What about the children sleeping in cars with nothing to eat? Families shouldn't have to struggle to survive, and children should not be homeless. Family Promise of Montgomery County serves the needs of homeless families and their children. Learn about ways you can help and learn about partnership opportunities at www.familypromiseofmc.org or call our day center at 936-441-8778.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on the Cindy Cochran Show. We have a great show lined up. It's Ask Me Anything, and you guys are so shy out there to ask me something. I'm saying ask me anything, and if it's, Richard reads the stuff before he tells me about it, because he's afraid it'll hurt my feelings. It won't hurt my feelings. You just ask me what you might want to know about, and of somebody of my age. And then you've got, are you a Gen Z? What are you considered, Richard?
I have no idea.
Are you Gen Z?
I consider myself Richard Price Schischler IV.
That's it.
That's the way it's going to be.
Oh, okay. Your dad, on my, on Facebook, gave me a thumbs up for my picture I had on there.
Okay. That made your day.
Before and after. Yeah, because I thought it was you, and I went, no, he wouldn't have put Richard. He would have put your other name. And but it was, he's so sweet. Sometimes he'll just reach out and say, like, I like this or like that.
Yeah, he does that to me all the time.
And
Except when he sent me motivational emails every day. I was like, Dad, we got to stop this. Like, can you just take me off this list? I know you mean well. But it's just like you're clogging up my email.
That's so, yeah, and I'll see you at the house later.
Yeah, I'll see you later. But like, you got to stop this. Yeah, it's pretty funny. And
I wish you could have come to some of my motivational speak, because I'd go around the country. They'd fly me in to do motivational speaking at women's groups and stuff. And it was...
because you broke the glass ceiling?
I broke the glass ceiling.
Without even doing all the dirty stuff?
No, that's right.
It's how... do you tell people that? But like, I didn't do any of the dirty stuff to get here. I got this with my own... That's
right. It was word of mouth.
Yeah.
It was word of mouth. And they say, you ought to have Cindy come out and talk to y'all, because she'll just... But I love that. I would have done that if... to have an agent and do it. But I found out that men were getting paid like 10 times more than I was, and I was speaking the same amount of time and had the same crowd that they had. But they weren't giving me anything but, like maybe $1,000 to come out and do it, and they'd give them $10,000 to
It's called ask for it.
Huh?
It's called ask for it.
Well, it just didn't seem, they said, okay, what we pay the women is this, because we don't have many women speakers. And I said, yeah, but I think you'd pay them more to have, to draw the women in. And they said, no, it's really what they have to.
Well, I think what it comes down to, especially in the entertainment industry, because I consider that kind of like the entertainment industry, is you have a starting rate. And you just say, yeah, I won't come out there for $5 unless it's $5,000. And
well, I told them they have to, you're going to pay my expenses, right? And they said, yeah, we'll fly you out.
Yeah. But again, it's a negotiation. At the very start of it's a negotiation. And you're the one that signed on for $1,000. So once you found out they're getting $10,000, you just say $5,000. You say $10,000. Why don't you just say $10,000 or $11,000 and deal with it?
I was already on the tour with Zig Ziglar. Do you know?
But you know
who
what I'm
he
talking
is?
about. It comes down to
but if you're already in the tour and you've already signed off on something, then that's what they're going to pay you.
Yeah,
and I didn't know that
was
the other
on
people.
You. That's on you.
I know it is. Sign or
to be
beware.
honest, that's the way it is.
I know it was.
Every industry is like that because you have to. Because I feel like what you have to do when you're out into the business world, is you have to take care of yourself. Like they're not gonna. Any person that's negotiating with you, it's a negotiation. So they're not gonna do you any favors.
No.
Unless there's some unique scenario like it's a family member or nepotism or something like. Because nepotism is great.
You're like my best friend, and you don't give anything.
Well, I don't treat anyone different.
Huh?
I get in trouble with that a lot because it's like.
What about?
Like I always get in trouble with my mom and my dad and some family members because they're like, "Well, we love you, Richard," and I'm like, "Well, I love you too, but also know I love everyone just like Jesus did. So it's all equal. You're not any better." and they get so I'm like, that's the way it is.
But you don't believe that. I mean, you love your mother.
Well, if it's convenient to believe it, then I'll believe it. If it's convenient for me. Well, that was always kind of like an internal struggle when I was growing up. I was like, I don't really get this whole thing. Because, this guy loved everyone kind of equally, right? Like, he didn't choose. He might have had a favorite apostle. That's because they both were really good at cards or something. But I don't think he loved this guy any different from, a stranger in the street. Because that was his whole shtick.
Right.
Was this prostitute, same as you. So.
Well.
Right, so that's the way I interpreted it when I was reading the Bible at 10 years old.
No, I think you're exactly.
And I was like,
exactly
so what's
right.
the point? I'm like, all right, I'll just treat everyone right. And then that's when I discovered the golden rule, which is even better.
That's a great rule.
And I'm like, I'm gonna live by that because I want to have a good day, so I'm gonna treat everyone else having a good day.
I want you to treat me like I will treat you.
And if I'm having a bad day, I'm gonna treat everybody.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a bad day too.
Yeah. You do. You put on a different voice, and I go. That whenever I left that first time from the other studio, because I didn't want to negotiate with you, or I didn't like your negotiation.
Yeah, I said I don't care.
And so it's like, and somebody called me. I don't know who. I can't remember who it was that called me and said, "You know what? Richard said he already found somebody to replace you." Like, what? I was in the parking lot. Getting ready to leave, and they said, "Cindy, I just heard. I think he's already replaced you," and I went, "Well, for crying out loud, at least wait till I drive out of the parking lot before he does." That's what it was so funny that when
well, see, what I love about that mindset, it reminds me a lot of today's social media or news media is. You say these words like, I replaced you. And technically, your time slot got replaced, but it wasn't as if I was actively going out there going, I need to find another Cindy Cochran.
Oh, you couldn't have done that. But
that's what I'm saying. It's like you could tell people, like the fact that someone would call you, be like, he already replaced you. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, no, it's just a time slot. Like, that's the time they were available. So
right.
What do you, like... again, it's like I don't negotiate with that. I'm like, yeah, if you want to be silly, you can go be silly over here. Like, that's why I get tired of reading the news and everything today because it's like, I mean that might be true, but it's not probably out of context. But then again, you can say I was a butthead. I don't care because I still think I don't even know what originally what the problem was. But I remember, I just had rules, and there's only so many rules I have, and I'm like, is this something that you
had so many rules?
Like
you're right.
What?
Well,
you probably count on one hand how many rules I had.
About that it wouldn't be my show. It's going to be the station's show, and that you can
like the way we handle shows here is you can own the name. I don't care. You can own whatever personality you want to be, but anything we record, we have to have. And I was trying to explain it to you, like we have to have ownership of it to be able to have sponsorships for it.
Right.
So it's like a technical rule, not like, oh, I want to steal all your content. It's more of like we can't, in good faith, take money for this content we don't own.
Right.
So because it might be construed as paying for airtime.
Right.
And we don't allow that here at Lone Star Community Radio because we don't own your content. So like when we play shows like Dance Time in Texas, we have to put a disclaimer: we don't own this show. Whatever this show's doing, we have no, connection to. But we love DJ Mike. We love the music he puts together, and so we play it. And unfortunately for you, you weren't in the situation to record in your basement because I was like, you can go record in your basement. You can own it all 100%. I don't care. But you can't use the studio and then take it away. Like,
right. That's why you made us get sponsors. So that
no, I don't force people to get sponsors. I said it has to be available to get sponsors. Now, if you want to give back to the studio, I appreciate it. But I always tell people this isn't something where we make you do something. But it has to be available to the public. It has to be. 'Cause
right.
There has to be an avenue of some type of income to help supplement the station.
Right.
So when you got all pissy about that, I was like, I don't think she's understanding. Like, this is you're getting a free show. We're providing the equipment and the engineer and all this stuff. The takeaway from it is we get to own the content that's made in the studio. Now, if you went home and turned on your web camera and just went to town, that's good for you. You own it. I don't care. And if I'm able to air it, if you're not spouting off Fox News
but if
stuff,
I called it the Cindy Cochran Show, you don't own that?
No,
see, that's what I thought that you.
No, I was trying to explain to you. I was like, you can take that. That's why we don't air shows on people's personal profiles. That's because people were leaving after 5 years of having a show, and they basically had 400 episodes, and it's like, look at all the stuff I created. I'm like, we don't make any money. Like to me, that's kind of stealing.
But if I had wanted to go out and do a show somewhere else,
if you wanted,
I couldn't tell them. Okay, you have to go to YouTube and look up Cindy Cochran Show.
The old shows.
The old shows. Yeah. Nothing new. Wait, the old shows.
Yeah, like the archive shows. So anything you create at the next episode, like say hypothetically the next episode is in your basement. And from then on, it's in your basement. Those are all yours. But like, you can't take the content that we made here at Lone Star and put it on your YouTube channel and pretend that it's like, yeah, I created this.
Well, I don't know how did I get the impression though? It was like I felt like I was signing an MGM contract.
Yeah, you could have read the contract. It said like, we don't own the name, we don't own the graphics, we don't own any of that stuff because that was provided from you. But we own the content that's generated inside of anything Lone Star Community Radio owns, like equipment-wise and engineer-wise.
And when you record it.
Like anywhere. Like if like when we went on Man on the Street and stuff like that, like when we did the remotes, we would own that because it's our content. Like it's our equipment.
And I understand that.
Yeah,
but
now
I think
you do because you're older and wiser now.
Because what?
You're older and wiser now.
Yeah. I was only...
Yeah, I remember you getting upset, and I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't care. Like, if you're not understanding this, that's up to you. Like, you don't have to do anything. Like, I'm not...
But I told you, I said, let's hug it out, and then, okay, all right, bye, I won't be back.
And then I immediately got on the phone, and I was like, Mr. President, we need to find somebody to replace Cindy Cochran, like today. Like yesterday.
Who said that?
Nobody.
Oh, okay. You had somebody in the wait, in the
that's just...
wings?
Well, if anything, your time slot's pretty easy for people, and you took up a lot of time. You were 5 days a week at the time.
Yes, 5 days a week, and
I think the only person that we got that time slot was on a Monday. It wasn't like a 5 day week thing. It was just like that was the Because when I meet new people, I'm like, here are the days that are available. We try to make it work, and I refuse to do anything on the weekends because I want to have my sanity.
Right.
And it's just kind of one of those things. So
no, I am much older and wiser, but
she, as you can tell, she's still bothered by it. Like, even though I explained this to her today, I bet you in a year from now, she's going to be like, yeah, you were really mean to me during that time.
And my lawyer said,
Oh yeah, that's my favorite thing is when people get upset with me, and I'm like, I don't really care, dude. Like, that's one of those things. You know me and my relationships with people who disagree with me. I'm like, you can disagree with me all you want, but like, I'm the one providing the service, so you can do it or not. Like, those are the rules.
Right, you can do it or not.
Because you're not the first person to get freaked out about the ownership stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's just the way it is, man. Like, you're more than. If anything, we're doing a service to the community. And if you don't want to follow those 5 rules we have, like, that's on you. That's not on. We're not selecting you and making more rules because I don't like you.
Yeah.
So it's like.
But you did tell me one time.
I didn't like you?
No, you did. You told me after we threw the pie chart away. You said that. Listen, here's the problem, Cindy, is that people don't like to listen to a woman's voice 15 minutes straight.
Yeah, I definitely said woman's voice.
You did.
I definitely said a woman's voice.
No, you really did.
No,
You
I literally
said,
am saying, yeah.
I thought you were disagreeing with me. No, and so
because people like listening to men's voice for 14 minutes.
Look,
So statistically, you got 1 more minute than the male gender.
no. In fact, I agree with that about male's voice and female's voice on, radio or TV or whatever. But the personality that goes with it, sometimes they'll allow it being a woman because they're saying something that they can relate to. But a man's voice commands more,
I guess.
attention.
It depends on what show you're listening to and why you're listening to it.
Yeah. Well,
I don't. The real reason I said that too is when you have a structure to a show, at least you're following some type of steps.
yes.
And when you seem aimless, that reflects poorly to the audience sometimes, depending on who's listening. Because like, who is this lady? Is she drunk? And then
What, me?
Well, I'm just saying, like, when people talk like that, like when I hear people go on rants, I'm like, either this guy's a conspiracy theorist, let's dig into it. Like, that's one thing I really I loved about Rush Limbaugh. Because, like, the way he would go down these rabbit holes and somehow hold it together, bridging things, I'm like, this guy's insane. Because the only way I can imagine him being this good is he's at home and he talks like that. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine talking to Rush Limbaugh all day. That would drive me nuts. It's kind of like Alex Jones. Like, I don't know how anyone can hang out with Alex Jones.
No.
Because it's just like, what is going on right now? Like, I thought that was a persona on TV.
Yeah.
I don't think, but I really do. Like, because I remember, like, because my dad liked Rush Limbaugh, and I remember listening to him growing up, and I was sitting there going like, does this guy treat his wife this way too? Like, imagine them having a discussion about buying a house and like negotiating the kitchen rebuild.
I think
And
somebody
it's just like
that
he gets all his paperwork. He's like, all these papers.
that talks 4 hours a day, comes home and says,
Oh no, that doesn't work for some females. I learned that because it's like, do you have any empathy that I've been listening to people all day and talking all day? Can I just watch Batman and just can I just relax?
I understand.
But
It's
you're
1 hour a day.
not allowed to.
No.
Some people don't allow that.
Allow what?
It's like, no, you can't. I have to talk to you.
No.
That is always my favorite, where it's like when you get into such habits with your friends and loved ones, it's like, all right, here we go. We got like my brother, Ben, when he's Mr. Details.
Mm-hmm.
So I always call him Mr. Details. So when we're talking about anything, he'd be like, well, no, actually, no, the color wasn't red. It was a shade of red on the left side of it. And I'm like, does that change any aspect of the story? No, I just want to make sure like you understood that.
Those people are.
And
yeah.
I get it because he's and that's why I call him Mr. Details. And when you have an argument with him, he'll backtrack and be like, no, actually, this, and I'm like, that doesn't really help any argument that we're having right now. That's just pointing out that I forgot that the guy's last name was Billings. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I used the first name.
Well, have you listened to all of the stuff about the tariffs and stuff that's going on?
No, my favorite one is the guy that was shipped to El Salvador, like the one person.
Yeah. Right.
And I was like, when I kept hearing about it, I go, because people, again, it's kind of like the out of context, like how you treated me, and you told the whole world that I was a bastard, and I'm like, why are you telling people I'm replacing you? Like, first off, there's no replacing.
Well,
But, that's details, right?
yeah,
And,
but see, they said that. I didn't.
I know, but
I'm not saying it to you. I'm saying what they said.
Yeah,
so.
then you repeat it to other people. Well, he replaced me.
I was just saying. Yeah,
Because
I
you
think
wanted sympathy, but because you know you're wrong, you try to sway people to your side.
I didn't know I was wrong.
Oh, you're definitely wrong.
At that time, I was not wrong. But I apologize that I.
That's big of you.
That-
Older and wiser.
Huh?
That's big. That's big
Yeah.
of you. Older and wiser.
Man, Sam said, you never apologized. You don't. I don't ever hear you say, "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that," or "I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
some
I'm
people
wrong."
don't. Some people
I've
don't.
never heard the wrong come out of your mouth. I'm wrong, and I said that is so untrue. I'm always saying I'm sorry. In fact, you told me quit telling the waiters or.
Oh, I love
the
people
that
who
I'm sorry.
who you're
I'm sorry.
asking like, "Hey, you need to apologize," and they're always like, "Well, I'm sorry. We should do better." That's always. I'll never forget. This girl told me that, and I was like, "Oh, we should do better, huh?" Okay.
I just always hate the parents that come up to the door to get their kids from the birthday party, and they said, "Wait, tell Miss Cochran you had a good time."
This sucked.
I had a good time. Thank you, Miss Cochran, and walk out. And that it so doesn't mean anything. I want to say to the kid, look. If
No,
you thought
actually,
it
I
was
think as a
horrible-
kid, it's really important to develop those habits.
Well, it's a
because
it's a
once
manners thing, yeah.
once they, because like to me today, I like holding the door open, and I was taught that, and it's not like back then. I'm like, it's stupid or something. I could see a kid thinking that, but now I'm like, oh, I like that because I hope someone opens the door for me too. So again, the golden rule.
Well, I see. I'm walking up to it, and I think here's this this old lady.
This little snot.
That's limping. Let me open the door for her. But when they open the door for me, anytime they open the door for me, I say, "Your mama taught you right." And she said, and they'd go,
My mom's
they'd laugh.
dead.
They go like, "No, she would roll over in her grave right now if she didn't think I opened the door for
Yeah.
a lady." It's so cute, and people.
Let me ask you this though. I've been thinking about this. Similar to manners. So like say we're out we're out in public and we go to a dinner and you're like I'm with my significant other and this is where I get weirded out. There's two things I get weirded out is getting the chair for the significant other cuz it's like a little dance. It really is cuz I can pull the chair out really far away from the table and be like this is your seat. Take your seat.
Yeah.
And then you try to like guide the
And
seat
shove
in.
it up.
Yeah, and I always feel weird. I'm like, how close do you like to be to the table? Do you want me to push you all the way up there, or like? And that's why I don't like doing that. But I mean, I offer. I'm like, here, like I kind of what I've changed was I kind of just tilt the chair to them. Like, here you go, here's your seat.
And then, if they can get in, I mean, but
yeah,
if they're
or
too large
it's
to get in-
indicated like, here you go. I'm not. This is where you can sit because I hate like because certain chairs like will not move and then they're not helping you. They're
And
like
that's kind of
they're like
embarrassing.
dead weight on the chair. Like push me in, man.
that is true, and
And-
that is
and then-
that's a great manner to have.
But I know, but I don't like it because it
Why?
just doesn't work. So I changed it. I changed the rule where I just kind of indicate I have the chair. I'm like, please
Right.
take your seat, and then they sit first, and then I sit. The second one was standing when a woman approaches the table or approaches the group,
Now I think that's
and
gone out of.
like the only time I do is if they're sitting at the table with me.
Mm-hmm.
And
If it's just you and her.
and it's before like the initial meeting has
Okay,
partaken. So I'm not going to get up every time a woman gets up to go to the restroom.
no, you don't.
But
have to do that.
if somebody comes to the, says hi, I'm like I'll stand up and shake their hand. I'm like hello.
Yeah.
So-
Now that's right.
Because if you're standing every time some woman uses the powder room, it's like might as well just stand for dinner and just be like, this is what we're doing.
Could you bring me a stool I could put my dinner on? No, but I think manners are so important. And I remember in the 60s, women, you didn't want anybody doing that for you. You don't want somebody to pull your chair out or you open the door out and all that.
Yeah.
That's how. But I always did. I stand there and wait for Sam to come around to get the door, and he goes, "Open the door." And I went, "No, you open the door." And he goes, "You can't open the door." And I went, "Well, I can, but."
Well, see, what Sam didn't realize, there is a technique to it.
Oh, what?
So,
Oh, dear, wait. Everybody drum roll.
well, like, say
Yes.
we're in an agreement that we need to get into the restaurant to, get a spot.
Uh-huh.
And so I'll either say, like, hey, I'm going to run in there, or if you want to run in there, That way I can park or I'm parking, go.
Right.
And then another thing is if I get out of the car and I'm kind of just slowly kind of just going around, and then you have time to open the door yourself if you're hungry or if you need to go to the restroom. Because I always like that rule, because imagine you need to use the restroom. It's like, are you really going to wait for me to open your door if you really needed to go bad?
No, I would tell you.
Yeah, but then
Unless
I would feel disrespected because I didn't get to fulfill my gentleman duty.
Well,
and I'd be like, no, it doesn't work. It works both ways. And I'm like, you disrespected me.
That's different though. There's
No.
an emergency there, and someone has to go to the bathroom.
I'm just kidding. I don't care.
And yeah, that would be okay. But but the other things that you talk about, like opening the door, and whenever they're getting in the car, you open the door, and
Yeah.
you do have a lot of good manners. Your mom did well. With
Maybe I
you.
should get a Tesla where they open the doors automatically. And I wonder if that's a get around that rule. It's like, there you go.
They open automatic.
I think so. I want to say yes.
I love that they've got cameras on, so many cameras there that they're taking all those pictures, and those people, those stupid people, go they didn't wear a mask or anything, but the one guy had a mask on and he was doing the cocktail, make it burst into fire. What's the cocktail? You throw
Like a bartender?
No, the bomb, the
Molotov.
Yeah, and his mask falls off, and so he's
like, oh no,
and he's the one that they've got ready to give 20 years to because of what all he did.
Yeah,
and they've got to go man, that was stupid. What was I thinking? When they get to that point.
I think everyone thinks that when they're getting the headshot taken in the police department. So
Yeah, probably so.
yeah.
But we've got Teslas at in Spring.
I think there's Teslas everywhere.
I mean, but
You know what I saw? I wish I took a picture of it. I saw the new truck or whatever. I guess it's not really new. But what's funny to me, I don't know, I never actually looked at one of these trucks. I actually kind of want to look at it now. Is it was brand new, so it had paper plates. And I guess the guy couldn't find where you put the plate. So on the back of the tailgate, he just taped it on the back of the tailgate.
He taped it
on the license, the paper license, you get when
yeah.
he just taped it on the back of the tailgate with Scotch tape or something. And I was sitting there going well, that's weird.
He couldn't afford he couldn't afford the real license. How long does that last? The license the paper plate. It depends
on where you buy it, because if you bought it from a dealership, sometimes they'll ship it to the dealership, so they'll call you and be like, hey, your license plates are in.
Yeah.
And then most of the time wherever you purchase the vehicle at a dealership, they'll ship it to you. But I think if you bought it from a person, I imagine when you're filing registration for the car, that's when they'll ship it to your house whenever.
I'm so glad you said that. Where do you pay for your Montgomery County property tax? Is it for that building right there?
I imagine.
Do you think that's the building?
I think it's that giant building next to us.
I've been trying to find out where to pay. Oh my goodness! And then I thought, wait a minute, county tax. We're right next to the county tax.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, you got to pay taxes. Did you pay your taxes?
No, I haven't paid. I'm supposed to pay in January, and it's what month is it now?
It's April 15th.
April?
Today's tax day.
Yeah. And today's tax day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's for your federal tax.
That's for federal tax.
Federal
Everything's
taxes.
a little different. It's really confusing. I love it. I love it. Especially if you own your own business. It's all over
But
the
they
place.
have a calendar. Okay, if you don't pay it in January, then you pay it in February, and this is how much more it's going to cost you. And so, I can't believe I could have paid. And is it also for registration for a car?
What? Over next door?
Yeah.
I believe
They
so,
do that
yes.
too?
Yeah, I believe so too. Yeah, for some reason, I want to talk to Mark Keogh about this in depth, because I think this year was the first year the law went into effect in Texas that you don't have to get car inspections anymore. You still have to pay your registration online.
But you don't
or pay your registration. But
proof
you,
of
you don't have to go to a Jiffy Lube and get your car inspected. But certain counties said no, we're still going to require it. And Montgomery County was like one of like the 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to talk to him about that because I was like, is it really that much more money, or is it like Jiffy Lube wants you to do that? It's because they can make the $20 or whatever. Because that's kind of like, Jiffy Lube's thing was like, oh, come get your state inspection, then we'll try to upsell you like new brakes or whatever. So I don't really know, but
property taxes are high.
Yeah, everyone's complaining about that.
I can't wait till next year, and if all these things that he is doing really brings down,
I don't think he
taxes.
has any. I think they do have something with the taxes. The
that
taxes.
big beautiful bill that they were talking about doing was
well,
they're
my
going back.
favorite. Hey, so Will Metcalf, right? He's our state state rep here. What's so funny to me is living here for over, I guess, 10 years and being involved in the community. I guess his you can tell when it's coming up, his seat's coming up for voting. Because now I'm seeing all these anti-Will Metcalf stuff, and I'm sitting there going like, he was like one of the nicest guys. Like, what is he doing wrong? And then when you go into like the people's postings on social media, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this guy literally really hates this guy, and he's really writing a lot of stuff.
Oh,
but
well, I wanted to have Will back on our show because when he was running the first time he ran, he came on the Mark and Cindy show, and when he won, I think I called him or texted him or something. I said,
"Oh, he's too busy."
Huh?
He's too busy.
He's too busy. But I just did it just to say, see, that was a great idea, you coming on the show, and look what happened to you. So we're going to take some responsibility for your win.
Well, everybody should take responsibility because they voted for him, or
I know, but I just wanted to remind him he came on there.
I do enjoy seeing that, though. Now it's like people are like, can you believe he did this? Can you believe he voted against his own people? His own people! It's very entertaining.
See, we're in spring, you're in Montgomery County.
Certain areas.
And Harris.
I think certain areas.
Yeah, you're like...
There's a line.
2 minutes, and then you're in
like even in the
Harris
Woodlands.
County.
Sometimes if you're in the Woodlands, you're in Harris County. We've already covered this.
No, but I was just wondering...
you have no idea what county you're a part of, do you?
No, I'm Montgomery County.
Okay.
Because I stood in line in the Harris County to vote on November.
Oh, and they were like, nope.
Yeah, and they go, you're not in the right county. You need to go around the corner and down this, and that made me so bad. But it's so funny because let me tell you what this. One of the girls on the Fox and Friends. I know you don't like to, but Fox and Friends. She's a Spanish girl, and she has a podcast on their nose. I don't know how you say news in Spanish, but there's a show, and she got to get Trump to interview him. And while they're interviewing him, she asked the question, do you think that all the money that we're going to be getting back from these tariffs, that could pay for income tax and we wouldn't have to pay any income tax anymore? And he goes, nobody's ever asked me that question before. And let me think about that. And so this big banner comes across the Fox News thing. Trump Trump is I think is going to, where we don't have to pay income tax anymore. Because income tax was
they're always figure out how to get their money. No matter what, they're always going to figure it out.
But tariffs used to pay for
Well, my favorite
everything.
one was like, again, when they were talking about taking away tips from waiter or tax-free tips, and people are still going to complain, but like, well, why do they get that if I work, overtime? Well,
overtime, it's going to be tax deductible.
Well, I mean, that's why they added it because they're like, hey, they're working on tips, and then like they're getting that taken away, or not taken away, but they don't have to pay tax on it. It's like, why not us getting overtime? Oh yeah, we'll include overtime. And then it's like, well, what about other people who don't work on tips? For example, like people that work at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get tipped. So where's their tax break?
I give them tips.
Does that make sense?
I said, do y'all share tips?
Because why? Because you're favoring an industry over another.
No.
That makes comparable the same amount of money.
Yeah.
And that's why, and again, that's a libertarian way, or like however you want to think about it. Because it made sense to me when that argument came around. I was like, yeah, because say you're a person working at McDonald's making $15 an hour, and say this waiter's making equivalent of $15 an hour, and then they get a tax break. Well, what about the guy working at McDonald's? What does he get? He gets nothing. He doesn't get. He doesn't.
Well, I started. Mark made fun of me because he thought I was really.
Well,
he
you
said,
are. You are.
He said you don't tip well. Like I really tip well, and you don't really tip. And he was making fun of the way I said, if they do a good job, I want to reward them. And then when I found out you reward them, they put it all in a big pot, and then they divide it up later. It was really strange to me. So I thought that
Well, it depends on the restaurant.
But
because like at the bowling alley when I worked there, I noticed I was getting tipped a lot more than the snack bar kids. And I mean, again, they're like 16, so they're not very customer friendly. And then
you have to handle all the smelly shoes. And
well,
stuff.
yeah, there's one particular guy really liked me because I treated his kids great, and he would tip me like $50, like $100. One time he tipped me $100.
What?
And I felt that I should not take that and not share it, because I was like, that's an obscene amount of money. And
yeah,
the snack bar people were dealing with his kids. Everyone was kind of dealing with it. And then it was funny is next thing I know after I did that, a policy changed there where the front and the snack bar share tips now.
Oh.
And so I kind of laughed about that. I was like,
Yeah.
I like that idea because I don't feel bad, because sometimes those kids make like $4 and then like a whole shift, and I'll make like I'll make like $40 in 3 hours, and I'm just giving people shoes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I can't explain it.
Well, Walmart, they're not allowed to take any tips.
Yeah. When I worked at the car wash, we weren't allowed to, but I always did anyway.
And H-E-B.
I was like, really? You're going to fire me over $1?
Yeah. Just take it. Well, H-E-B, I'll say, I say, when you open up your drawer, keep it open because I want to ask you something. And they went, and I know they're going to, why? That's very strange. But I'll say, can you give me 2 10s for this 20? And they said, okay. And so they do it. And then I give the guy who, split it between them. And they said, well, then would you like us to take that out for you? We'll be glad to take it out to your car. And they're so sweet. I love H-E-B people that work there.
Well, when they see you and they think pathetic, and they're like, we have to help these meek and pathetic people.
They think pathetic when they see me. Oh, my goodness.
No, I know I was a sacker. I always I think one of my favorite memories of just when you're so young and you're dealing with like any type of corporation or business. I remember going into like the introductory classes or whatever. They're like, oh hey, great news! Like you can take tips, and like you're a sacker, so you'll get tipped the most out of everybody. And I was like, oh cool, tips. And then, little did I learn, 5 months working there, like the next 5 months, I got tipped like, I don't know, maybe $1 a day. Mm-hmm. And there was this particular old lady, I forgot her name, but she drove. I remember that she drove a powder blue Jaguar. It was beautiful,
wow,
beautiful car. But she was frail, and so I'd help her, and she'd always give me 35 cents.
35 cents?
Yes.
That's how she was able to afford the Jaguar.
And I'm sitting there thinking like, well, no, because I always think to myself like, well, that's 2 coins. She could just tip me 25 cents, because that'd be like, technically, oh, here you go, here's 25 cents. But it was always 35 cents, and I always wondered why 35? Like, it never deviated from 35 cents.
That's
I probably
interesting.
took it grocery store car once a week, and it was just kind of like 35 cents. Why is it 35 cents?
Well,
and
they found out quick. It got around that I would tip really well if you come out and take the stuff out to the car.
Yeah.
Because
you'll become a mark. They see that pathetic woman like, oh, she's got money.
And they'll come across from the parking lot.
You better guard your
getting
wallet.
Carts, and they see me and they come with their, can I help you with your groceries? Okay.
Well, again, so how do you feel about the new style now with you order online and you pick it up at the location?
They tip them, yeah.
You tip them?
Uh-huh. Yeah, because they have to go, they're doing the shopping for you, so you better tip them.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they require.
Yeah, because the tipping industry, I don't really get. I don't know if it's fair or not. I don't know, because if you build a business model around tipping, that to me, that's long term, it's not going to work.
Yeah, but I don't like whenever they put on the ticket, this is what we've figured out. You owe this much for tip, and leave
like
it
when you order
that.
food to go, do you tip?
Food to go?
Do you do the 20% food to go when you go went to go pick up your barbecue?
Yeah.
And they didn't give you your chocolate pie or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Do you tip the normal 20% or whatever standard?
Well, they start at 15, I think 20, 25, and then
because I know certain places will automatically add the tip if it exceeds a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
So if it's like $1,000 order, they're already going to include.
Yeah, they're going to put the tip on there for sure. Yeah, like Spring Creek. Whenever I go order like for a, going to have a party and stuff, they definitely put it on there. But if everybody, the person that takes it and carries it out to my car, I want to tip them because I know that. But they all share tips. But I always ask them, now, do you share tips? They go like, yes. And then one guy said, oh, no, we don't share tips. And I said, so you don't have, okay, well then here, this is for you because you did the most work for me. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, again, it's weird because there's no sign that says, oh, it's a boot collection. Because I told you that story about Sonic.
What?
Where they'd only lit, the Sonic I worked at, the only people they would let car hop was women.
Right.
And I was like, it's kind of crap. Because I want to make some tips.
Oh, they only let the women?
Yeah, they'd only let women do it.
Let's see, if I ever had a guy? No, I don't think I ever had a guy.
Yeah.
You're right.
And I was like, I don't think that's right.
Well, they don't skate anymore. I don't know.
And then my dad taught me a little bit about law, how the law works. And so I used some big words. And then the guy was like, well, we'll let you tip, or we'll let you car hop like one time of the week. And I'm like, cool, I'll even wear rollerblades. Oh, no, we don't allow you to wear rollerblades. Because apparently it's a safety thing.
Yeah, it was a safety thing. That was interesting. Well,
but yeah.
If you
But the tipping thing, like when I do pick up, I think I tip a couple bucks. Like, why would I tip 20%? They're not serving me.
I know, but they just get happy.
Like I don't tip at McDonald's.
No, I feel rushed. I feel rushed all through there, so I don't.
So I mean, I'm not really worried. I don't know. So that's something. The tipping culture is really funny to me because it's not very consistent, and I don't like that. So I don't want to I don't want to partake in it. It's not consistent enough.
But I go all by personality. If they're real sweet and they're real kind and they ask all the right questions and all that stuff, then I appreciate that so much. Instead of having somebody go, okay, it's $35. You want card or cash?
Well, that's what I was saying. Like that's why I was getting tipped so much more at the bowling alley because the kids are trying to make food. They're 17, 18 years old. They don't really know.
Right. I've got to come down there whenever you were there and watch you behind the counter. I just want to see that sweet, personality that you give to them, and you don't make fun of them or anything.
No, I'll get on the microphone
and call them out.
Beware of this woman.
Oh, Cindy Cochran's in the house.
Watch your pocketbook.
Mm-hmm.
And
your French
your
fries.
valuables and your spaghetti.
And your spaghetti. Watch all that. Hey, you know what? You told me that it was I was thinking it was the
accountant too.
The accountant too.
Yeah.
But the amateur, what is that a movie or is that
a movie?
It's not a series.
No, it's a movie.
That looked really good.
I feel like there's literally another movie like that came out 5 years ago. Let me look.
Okay.
'Cause
Because
I want to say it had who was I'm just drew a blank. Who was the Batman from the Tim Burton?
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah. How did I remember that? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's called American Assassin because he was the teacher, and it's the same. I feel like it's the same plot a little bit. Because like this guy is on a honeymoon, or he's gonna. I don't know. He was asking his wife to marry him, and they're in some foreign country on a beach, and these terrorists come and just start killing everybody.
Yeah.
And somehow he went after his wife got shot, he went rogue, and he's like, I'm gonna go kill these people. But he had no CIA help or anything.
Right,
and then he gets caught by the CIA.
Yeah.
And they're like,
rogue.
Yeah, and then he's like, let me send you to Michael Keaton, and he'll teach you how to kill these guys.
Yeah.
And that was.
Oh, I love that.
So to me, that's a similar plot, right?
It
just
sounds
kind
right.
of skips.
And I remember
it
being
skips,
on the beach.
It skips that middle act where he's doing it all by himself. But yeah, I saw that movie. I was like, that's not going to make any money. No one wants to see that. That's a streaming movie. So, but yeah, The Accountant 2. I think they have a special screening tonight at 7 p.m. I saw that. They changed up the trailer.
Tuesday?
Yeah, it's tax day, so we're gonna have a special screening of The Accountant.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, perfect.
So you should go see it.
No.
No.
No. I just wait for you to want to see the same show.
Yeah.
Some movie. I like the action movies. I really do. I think those are good.
Well, we gotta be wrapping up pretty soon.
Yes. Okay.
So you're not gonna be here for the rest of the week because you're going on a trip or doing something. You're busy.
No, I've got doctor's appointments out the
Yeah.
Oh, you don't say that. That wasn't nice. Okay.
Okay.
I've got so many doctor's appointments that I can't believe. And then I'll have a full report next Tuesday about
Your
they say
colonoscopy.
when you're
But yeah, we want to give a shout out to Wootton Financial.
Yes. And
you
Chris
have guests. You have a guest. Let me double check for you and say that. You can keep talking though. You don't have to it's your show that you don't own.
The Widows Club?
I don't think it's called the Widows Club.
Well, I mean, that's what it is.
I think it's like lifting up or uplifting.
Yeah, lift.
But that's on the 29th. That's not next week. Okay. Sorry. If you want to be a guest on the show, reach out to the station. Cindy will talk to literally anyone.
Anybody. You know that.
Yeah.
I'll
Anybody.
give you a tip. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a tipper now. She's tipping me right now.
Please.
Where's my tip?
Call Richard and go to the Lone Star Community Radio Facebook page.
Yeah, Lone Star Community Radio. Just look us up. Contact us anyway. lscrstudios@gmail.com. Special thanks to Wootton Financial for sponsoring today's show and being a continuous sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. And Cindy, I'll miss you for the rest of the week. Happy Easter.
Oh, yeah. Happy Easter.
Yeah,
yes.
It's really funny. I know before we got a couple seconds, so minutes. My cousin was coming to town, and he was like, "What are you doing this weekend?" I'm around, and I was like, "Oh well, I already agreed to do something Saturday all day. I'm doing this crawfish thing in Katy, and then Friday I'm working late here. So Sunday I asked the girl on a date. So I don't know, she hasn't responded back. And or to go out, not really a date, and he's like, "Why would you ask her on Easter?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It was the only day I had available, so I don't care about if it's Easter or not. That's literally the only day I have available." So.
Well, I'm glad you did something spiritual and in your weekend, and you're not taking her to church or anything.
No,
okay.
No.
Okay, I was just wondering. Well,
ironically, growing up, we would go to church all the time, but we'd never go to church on Easter.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because
it was too crowded.
Yeah, it is so crowded on.
And so, I remember that I was like, "Oh, I love Easter," because we would do something with the church during the weekend, but we wouldn't go to service.
Yeah, but that dressing up stuff, I did that.
We would participate in
growing
the
up
Easter egg thing or something.
Grandmother worked at Sears, and we had to have all the Easter clothes on and stuff. I couldn't stand that. So now we're black, all black. And this lady that was sitting behind me in church one time, she leaned over to the lady next to her. And just about that time I turned around and she said, they all wear black. And it's true. My
You mean the Widows
my
Club?
kids and my kids and everybody wears black. So no one ever knew.
Because black is gender neutral.
Yeah. It makes you look thinner. Makes you look mean.
I guess.
It's like mean. Okay, so anyway, to our first responders, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for all you do for us, the police, the firemen, and all the ones that help, and the first responders, just like us. We first respond. Oh, okay. He's telling me.
Every week, people ask the same two questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wootton with Wootton Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these two questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, one-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wootton Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran's show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wootton Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wootton Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.woottonfinancial.com. That's www.woottonfinancial.com.
This program is sponsored by the Wootton Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wootton Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wootton Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the state of Texas. Insurance services are offered through Wootton Financial Group, Inc. Game Plan Advisors and Wootton Financial Group, Inc. are affiliated through common ownership, and neither firm is affiliated with The Cindy Cochran Show. No listener should assume that any information presented and or made available on this program serves as the receipt of or a substitute for personalized individual advice from Game Plan Advisors, Wootton Financial Group, or any of their representatives.
Does your company have needs that can be met by an employee who is dependable, hardworking, enthusiastic, motivated, cooperative, respectful, and punctual? Conroe Independent School District Special Education Department can meet your